His claim is that college is a scam.
So college is a scam.
Well, let's define our terms. College being traditional four-year college.
Of course.
University, not community college or technical college.
Of course.
A scam, if we can agree on a definition, is where a majority of people who will go through, they're not getting their money's worth, their time's worth, and they're being deceived when they sign up. So do we agree on those terms?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so those terms were clear terms. Now, this guy is going to introduce some other terms into this conversation, and this is where Charli Kirk is going to rope himself. From this point forward, what he said in the next few seconds totally counteracts every argument that he makes about college being a scam. Just listen.
With further definitions, what do you think is the purpose of going to college?
The purpose of college should be.
What is the purpose of going to college? Very fantastic question. And Charli Kirk lists out a couple of things that we should take note of.
A traditional liberal arts education, pursuit of what is good, true, and beautiful, not what it is. It should be the betterment of yourself and your soul, nurturing your character and becoming a better citizen, understanding the deeper things in life. At the very least, though, it should be preparing one for the job market.
In the very least, it should be preparing one for the job market. So of all the things that Charli Kirk has mentioned about the purpose of college, the least of it is what preparing one for the job market. But he's going to argue going forward as though the whole purpose of college is to prepare one for the job market, and that if someone isn't working in the field in which they studied in college, that then it's a failure. Totally counteracting the other things he talked about as being the purpose of college. Just listen.
Well, I think it's difficult to think about just one major, thinking about just gender studies. Like, sure, like not everyone should be a gender studies major. We need doctors, we need lawyers, we need everything. However, why does it matter if 10 people want to be a gender studies major and it matters to them? Like, not everyone can be a lawyer, not everyone can be a doctor. There needs to be some people, and you know what? Yeah, it sucks that some people do go to college and get a degree and then they end up not in a workforce for that. But I don't think that has to do with like college was a scam. It's more like maybe that just wasn't the path for them, or that life choice was just too hard to get for them. But some people are able to go to college and get a degree and use it. And that is super important, because imagine if no doctors went to college, they're just like, I think I can do it.
Well, of course,
like,
doctors and lawyers need credentialing, right? But
so now he's making an exception for doctors and lawyers, but that was not the claim. He didn't say some college courses were scams. He said college was a scam, right? Which is supposed to include doctors and lawyers. So why is he making the distinction now? If he had said that some college courses are useless courses, that people shouldn't be studying them, he wouldn't be correct, but he would have a stronger case. But when you start off with the position that college is a scam, and then you're not making an exception for certain aspects of college, then it undermines your position, it undermines your argument.
Well, less than 5% of all people that go to college end up studying medicine or in legal. The vast majority go into soft social sciences, communications, or the humanities. So you're in college, or have been, is that correct?
So what? Now he's pivoting to the point where he's trying to say that the purpose of college is what? To get a job. But that wasn't his definition earlier. His definition was other things: to nurture your character, to develop yourself, right? To be a better citizen. So how is he so sure that despite the fact that you don't get a job in the career field that you studied in the college, does that mean that there are no other aspects of what you've learned during your college days, that you've applied in your life that hasn't made you a better human being? I, for one, have seen how education helps people who even go into business, go into their private business that is not related to the field that they study, how it helps them to manage that business better compared to someone who never went to college. The difference is clear. It's very possible for you to not work in a field that you studied in school while still taking some of the principles you've learned in your schooling to be able to flourish. So he totally undermines his own argument.
Correct?
Yeah.
Are you forced to take classes that you think are a waste of time?
Yeah, I'm
okay. Hold on. So that they're taking your money.
How would he define a class as being a waste of time? How would he know if it's a waste of time? I mean, some of these things that you study, you don't know when you get to employ them later on in life. So how would you know? How would you know that 20 years from now, you're not going to see something that is going to be relevant, that there's a knowledge that you gathered in college that is going to be relevant to solving that problem? How would you know? How would you know that it hasn't made you a better person? How would you know it hasn't made you a better citizen? I mean, an informed citizenry is a better citizenry, isn't so?
And they're forcing you that they're a waste of time. That's kind of scammy, right?
Oh, I think that some classes.
Ooh, some. So you have to probably go in debt, right?
Depends.
Well, some obviously there are no absolutes, but Charlie Kirk's position is an absolute one. College is a scam, not some college courses. He said college is a scam.
Okay. Are you going into debt?
No.
Okay, well, that's good.
I picked a school that actually offered me a scholarship.
Oh, so someone else is paying for your college.
Oh,
so why is that a bad thing? Why is scholarship a bad thing?
No, depends on me. I mean, that's
No, I'm sorry,
school
that's
that
not-
wanted to give me an opportunity, but that's not what we're talking about.
Well,
We're
it is.
talking
No, we're
about
talking about the scam element, right? So you said
Right.
that there are some classes that if students had to go into debt or had to pay for,
Right.
would not be a good use of their time. So it's not representing students well.
Well, do you think like high school is a scam then? Because I had to pay
Some
for high
people-
school, but I'm not going to use AP US history in my psychology degree ever.
Well, I think AP US history is actually a really good use of time, knowing about your country and your history. And
Well, but I'm
Yeah,
not going to use.
but you know, he's changing the whole thing now, right? So for Charlie Kirk, yeah, there are some courses that if he had come out to say that there are some courses that are, you know, that he likes, that he thinks is relevant, right? It will make sense. But he said college is a scam. Now he's saying that what determines whether a college degree is useless or useful is if you are able to get a job with it. Now she's saying that, well, I study AP history and I'm never going to get a job with that. So does that mean that knowledge is useless? And then he says, oh, no. That knowledge is actually good. So you can't pick and choose. You can't just be picking and saying, oh yeah, this is good, this is bad. You have to go all in, and he's not being logically consistent. If he's being logically consistent, then he would concede to the fact that AP history courses are useless. But he's not going to say that. He is going to say this course is not useless because of the sort of history that is being taught in that history class that aligns with his own worldview. Supposing that history class was teaching the 1619 project, he's going to say that's a waste of time. So this is not objective. This is purely subjective and an ideologically driven position.
Is that in my career? That's what we're talking about in the career path for college.
Let's go back to what I said, right? We said traditional college, right?
Okay.
Four-year college. And what a scam is, or a majority of the people that will go through the enterprise, the business, or the institution are not getting their time worth or their money worth. So therefore, I go back to my core contention, which is a majority of kids that exit college will not use their degree at all when they go to find a job.
But if you
is that the purpose of college that you defined earlier? Was that in fact, you said that is the least of what college is supposed to do for you, but now you are predicating the success of college solely on finding a job. That's what he's doing. And it makes no sense.
Ask them, do you think college was a scam? I don't think majority of them are going to say yes. Some of them will. Some of them are going to.
Not everyone who's being scammed actively knows they're being scammed. People still buy erectile dysfunction drugs off the internet and they get scammed.
Okay, that's their own personal choice, though.
Of course, people have choices to be scammed. I'm not saying they don't have a choice. I'm making an observation analysis of the institution. For example, flying Spirit Airlines, kind of a scam.
Okay.
Should be shut down. There is some, kind of agree. There are some things in life we have to take a step back and like, oh, the consumer is not being well served.
You want to shut down a bunch of majors in colleges that you think are scams?
No, I never said that.
So what would your proposal be to fix the scam of college?
There is no proposal.
Why is there no proposal? If something is a scam, you want to fix it, you want to stop it. So why is there no proposal? And this just reveals the sort of attitude that many right-wingers have. They are in the business of being aggrieved. They don't want to solve any problem. If something is a scam, you'd want to do something about it. But he's just saying, no, I don't want to do anything about it. I just want to whine and bitch about it. So what's the point? She's asking a very valid question here. What is the point of this college is a scam thing that you keep bringing up? What's the point?
Simply, the contention is college is a scam.
So then what's the point of that statement?
To get you to agree.
Why is that a substantive reason to say college is a scam? I mean, if you've never met this girl, you've been saying college is a scam before you met this girl. So why is it a valid point to get someone to agree? Simply getting someone to agree that college is a scam doesn't do anything productive. It isn't substantive.
What would that do? Like, what do you want to fix in college that's going to help it not be a scam?
We can get to step interval 2 as long as you can agree that college is a scam.
No,
why is our agreement necessary? Why is our agreement necessary? Right? Don't try to get an agreement, try to make a case for your position. And you're doing a bad job of that. Very, very bad job.
Everyone. For me, I'm using a degree that's going to help people make better.
What are you studying?
Psychology and criminal justice.
Okay. So, and it's being paid for by somebody else, which is fine. That's good. So psychology and criminal justice. Do you absolutely need to get a degree to be able to get into this? Like you do?
So this guy really thinks that to be able to be proficient in psychology and criminal justice, you can just go read a bunch of books and then you're proficient. Probably that's why Jordan Peterson is so dumb, because maybe he didn't actually go to any college to study his own psychology. I mean, Charli Kirk is proof that if you don't go to college, you just come out really, really dumb. I mean, his arguments make no sense. They're not coherent. They are not logically consistent. They're just all over the place. He's changing the metrics. It doesn't make any sense. You think that someone can actually, become a psychologist without going to college. They can study criminal justice without going to college, and they would be competent. They'll be proficient in it. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could, I guess, study it all on my own, but it's just like makes more sense to go and have all these experience. I'm getting like wonderful experiences.
That's how human knowledge has always been passed down from time immemorial. Those who have the knowledge pass it down to other people. That's the way it's been. Someone who has a certain skill, transfers it to another person who is sort of their apprentice. College or schooling is like that. You're learning from your master, right? You can't master something. Only very few people can master things on their own. Most of humanity. I mean, Charli Kirk had to go to school to learn how to read and write. Did he learn it on his own? Did he just pop up one day and started figuring how to write the alphabets?
Internships all through my college.
So
that's helping me go through it. No, it's just that this is a pathway that's really helping me.
So there's 11 million jobs open in the country right now that don't require a college degree.
Okay, then the people who want those jobs.
And he still keeps pivoting back to this purpose of college being getting a job, getting the job, getting the job. But that was not his definition earlier. I purposely wanted us to take note of the definitions that he gave for the purpose of college, but he's still reducing it to what? Getting a job. So it means that if you cannot get a job with the college degree that you have, then college has failed. But that wasn't what his definition stated.
Can go get those jobs. I'm not one of those people.
Do you think we push too many kids into college?
No.
Okay, so the national graduation rate is 59%. If I ask the room, everyone would agree that they know some people that went to college that did not graduate.
Yeah.
Right? So we're probably sending too many kids into this institution.
But if they might have been able to do it, then like, why is it not worth it to try and to push yourself to get a better education and go further in your life?
That's a bad thing, right?
But some people are able to work through that. And it's like an opportunity thing.
But when an institution is multi-trillion dollars in scale, involves 23 million of our citizens every 4 years, and is not actually bettering the country. For example, if college was so great, we would see incomes going up for Gen Z and millennials. We'd see more people able to own homes. Okay. Kids wouldn't.
But that is assuming that only college is responsible, should be responsible for those things. I mean, people live within an economy, they live within a society. There are many factors that determine what happens with, people getting homes, that determine with people getting jobs. So it isn't solely the function of college. It's not a single variable analysis, right? It's multivariable. So even if college is supposed to, even if everybody is supposed to work in the field that they studied in school, what if something happens in the economy that has nothing to do with whether or not you have acquired the proficient enough skills to do the job?
I have a question. Is church a scam?
No, because church is.
Yeah, so I really like this guy. Now, this guy is going to flip the script on Charli Kirk. Now, I'm a Christian, right? But I'm going to be taking more of this kid's position because I think his arguments make more sense, more logical sense, right? Charli Kirk messed up. So let's go.
The divine and the eternal and the good and the true and the beautiful is college.
But it deceives people because you give a promise of everlasting life, which you don't actually get because Christianity is contradictory, logically speaking.
Do you want to get into a theological debate, or are we going to talk about college? Because I completely disagree. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and we will have eternal life.
Okay, so how, if there is a perfect being that created the world, how could we exist in an imperfect world?
I'm happy to have this discussion. Can we go back to college, though? Because do you think, because that's a little bit of a red herring and a little bit of a rabbit hole, tell me what that has to do with college being a scam.
Well, I do think college can be a scam for certain people. I don't think it's a scam for everyone.
Good. So I think this kid is setting up very well. He's conceding, he's saying that college can be, which is the logical position. College can be a scam for certain people, for certain careers, for certain courses and the rest. But just saying college is a scam itself makes no sense. It makes about as much sense as saying church is a scam. Because I can tell you for a fact that there are some churches who are scamming people. There are some church organizations that scam people. So because of the existence of such churches that scam people, would Charlie Kirk accept the premise that church is a scam? No, he's not.
Great.
No.
So
For people like me, college was very beneficial for me.
for sure.
Who is it a
I'm
scam,
asking
though?
you, based on your definition of a scam, do you consider the Christian church a scam?
Of course not. It's giving people eternal life and teaches them
But
goodness.
if Christianity is false, then that's a deception.
Okay, but you think it's false. I don't. We can agree to disagree. Also,
I'm not agreeing to disagree on that.
but we're not
Exactly.
talking about-
Why would you just agree to disagree and move on from that point? You have to prove your point. It's not enough to say, let's agree to disagree on this point, right? Because it seems like it's an opinion. But when you say college is a scam, you were not just stating it as an opinion. You were stating it as a matter of fact, and you brought up statistics to back up your position. But now the table has been flipped. You are now being pressured to prove that church is not a scam, that Christianity is not a scam, and you cannot prove that, because there are instances of church leaders living in opulence at the expense of their followers who are living in penury. That has happened. That is happening, and that will continue to happen. So in that regard, by that metric, isn't church a scam?
We're not talking about the church. We're talking about college, right? So again, also, people are not paying to go to church, are
But
they?
it's a reductio ad absurdum. You know what that is?
Ask the question.
What's a reductio ad absurdum?
That's a Latin term that means reducing down to the lowest common belief, correct?
Yeah, so I'm taking
Am I right? I didn't go to college. I knew that.
I'm
But
taking your particular position.
Let
that
me ask you a question without you interrupting me. Do you pay to go to church?
No, I don't.
Do you-
Some people
hold
do.
on,
They're forced to pay based upon
hold
their
on.
particular denomination.
And today, do you pay to go to church?
Depending on the church.
No, you don't. Do you have to go to
Yeah,
that?
some people do pay to go to church. Now, it's not like you're forced really, but you are emotionally blackmailed into paying. For example, like in my country, there are certain churches that require the salary of the first month of the year. Say in January. January is a tight time for many people where they are paying their house rent, they're paying their kids' school fees, and then the church requires you to pay they call it the first fruits, every penny you receive in that month supposed to go to the church. And there are many people who do that, and they are in debt, and they are in financial distress because they are trying to meet up with some requirements from the church. Yes, so that does happen, and there are so many ways in which many church leaders manipulate their followers into parting with their money. So in that regard, would you say church is a scam? For some churches are scams. So would that mean that church is a scam? No. Similarly with college.
That to go to church?
In some circumstances, people do because they have to give
What?
up 10% of
With-
their income to
hold
be able
on.
to do that, which people
What
can't afford.
circumstance?
Well, they're LDS. You understand that a lot of LDS churches specifically require 10%.
Yeah,
That's
they don't-
Christian.
It's not just
require-
LDS church. I mean, it's a requirement in Christianity. I'm a Christian, so I know that it's a requirement that 10% of your salary goes to the church. It's called tithing, right? Now, you're not forced to pay it, but it's required that you do it as a good Christian, right? So
Right? And what you're
They
talking
do in
about,
plenty of places.
well, you're asking mainline Christian.
Isn't there stigmatization
belief.
if you don't do that?
Okay, you're good at interrupting, not good at answering.
Well,
So
you haven't
just-
answered any of my questions
Well,
yet.
I did say no, church is not a scam. Church is the bride of Christ. College is a scam. And college is people are going into debt. They're paying a lot of money. But I want to ask you a question. You said it's a scam for some people. Who's it a scam for?
Yeah, for people who specifically aren't ever going to use it, never use any of the knowledge
So
that they retain from
52%.
it. Well, you say 52%. I don't think you can qualify 52% of people don't do that.
What number would you say?
For example, my job, that's not going to be recommended as an economics degree. Most economics majors are going to go into TikTok debating online. But I use the information that I learned in college in my job on a daily basis.
What-
So I
I
still
think
use
this information that this kid learned is serving him very well because he's just kicking Charlie's butt.
What
relevant
percentage-
qualities that are then used in my job later
Right.
on.
What percentage of kids that go to college are being scammed? Can you
I
put
don't
a
think
number?
I don't think anyone knows that
Can you
because it's
guess?
dependent upon an individual. I have no clue.
Shouldn't we try to find out?
How exactly
if
are
you
you
like to-
supposed to know something like that? How exactly are you supposed to know what percentage of kids who go into college are scam? If the purpose of college is so many things, right? But you're defining after defining the purpose of college but as so many things that by the end of it, you just pick one factor to determine whether that's a success or not. So there's literally no way for you to know. If you don't get a job with the degree that you studied, possibly it's made you a better person. Possibly it's built character in you. It's built integrity in you. Possibly it's built some organizational skills in you. Possibly it's made you a better citizen. And those are all legitimate purposes of going to college that Charlie Kirk read out.
finding some empirics on that, I'd love to see it.
I just did. So
Well,
41,
wait, that's not a
41%.
source.
Well, the Department of Education is a source.
No, the Department of Education doesn't say 41% of people it was a scam for,
Hold
or that
on.
they didn't use any of the information they learned in college.
You are using.
So are you saying none of them used any of the information?
Can I say 3 words without you interrupting me?
Do any of them
How
use
about
the information
4?
later on?
Can I say 5 words without interrupting
Well, you've
me?
interrupted me multiple times.
So since you say college is a scam for some people, it's a ballpark. For the kids that do not graduate, 41% that ended up going and not graduating, were they scammed?
No, just because you go and pay for a particular thing, but then you don't follow through with it, doesn't mean you were scammed.
Maybe they were
You
misled.
decided to pay for it. Oh, you could say some people are misled.
Do you
Some
think
people are
that every-
stigmatized into these things.
Do you think
but
that
some people are misled in the church?
Do you think,
And you never answered my question
Well,
on that because you're trying to
I did.
take that time down so
Yeah.
you don't have to answer the question
Well,
about
hold on.
Christianity because you know your worldview looks terrible.
Well, what about Christianity do you want me to answer? We're talking
Well, I think
about
it's
college.
false. Or because I was saying,
Okay.
is church a scam? If church is a scam, that'd be predicated off of the
Okay,
idea that
but-
you're deceived into believing that there's everlasting life,
Okay, but you
specifically from
believe that,
Christianity.
again,
So Christianity has to be true. So can you grant that? What's the argument?
Christianity is true. Did the
What's the
resurrection?
argument?
You're going to let me finish 3 words in a row?
Appreciate it.
Okay. Did the resurrection happen?
I don't think the resurrection occurred.
Okay, I disagree.
Well, I disagree. It's not evidence that the resurrection happened. I believe the resurrection happened, but just stating that I disagree is not evidence that it happened. If someone is asking you for evidence of something, simply saying I disagree doesn't serve as evidence. So 0 for Charli Kirk.